Hello, hello. Welcome to Friday. I'm so glad to be here. And I'm so glad that you are too. So, still in Asheville, and well, we'll be here until August, so I probably won't mention that too many more times, but it's so beautiful. It's hard for me not to. And we're right downtown, and I get to take this beautiful walk through the area that we're in. It's this super cute historic district, and I love my walks every day. See something new, even though I pretty much take them more or less the same routes. So loving that. I want to personally invite you to Sunday morning at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time to join me here live on Facebook to come into community and learn more how to get liberated, how you can live a liberated life, how you can feel the power of liberating yourself from all of the things that you can't seem to figure out or can't seem to get to or can't seem to have in your life, right? There are boxes and cords and all kinds of things that bind you and withhold you, keep you from, oppress you from being able to get the things that you desire, whatever that might be. Now, I want to clarify that when I say that you get to have all of the things that you desire, I'm not saying you get to have literally whatever it is that comes to your mind. Because I imagine that there are some of you that think that that's what I'm saying. No, of course not, right? No, of course not. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you get to have the desires of your heart. So for those of you that may not understand that, or maybe like, what does that really mean? The way that I think about it is that we have some very inspiring, divine, beautiful desires that we have. They're not literally, I don't think they're literally here in my heart, but it's since childhood, the way that I've talked about it, they're really here, right? Where all of our thoughts are held. But it's the desires, the exciting adventures, goals, dreams that you experience, that you think about, that you wish for, that you long for, that are deep in your soul. Okay? Those are the things that you get to have. All of them, you get to have them. And so on Sunday mornings, I'm coming to you live to tune in, to give you a more lengthy, more detailed, specific training on how to get more liberated. And this Sunday morning, I'm talking about why it's so important for you to be you, fully you. And what the heck that really means, right? Because I'm sure you've heard it 1,000 times. But I'm going to give you a new spin on what it means. Okay, right alongside of this, of being fully liberated to do whatever it is that you desire to do in your life, whether it's make more money, start your own business, get a promotion, travel, see the world, live in a new place, be an amazing spouse, have way more love in your relationships, be a better parent, whatever it is. The way to getting there is you understanding why it's so important to be you, who you are designed to be, and living out the desires of your heart. Okay? So you might think, can life really be that simple? Actually, yes. It's so mind-blowing still to me that there are actually some very clear ways to live that are not complicated and create an absolutely amazing life. And for all intents and purposes, they were new to me. They're not brand new to me, but I have learned them in a new way starting 5 years ago. Which is why, if you've been following me for the journey of my being on Facebook, which goes on about 5 years now, you've seen the transformation in me. You've seen the continuous metamorphosis of me becoming more me, right? Now, some of you might be like, Sarah's I don't know. I don't know. Somebody walking out on the street yesterday when I was on one of my walks said that I looked really interesting, which I chose to take as a compliment because I know I use that word when I'm processing, right? Taking in something that's different, something that I'm not used to seeing. My mind, the way that I now understand my mind, I'm thinking, right? I'm taking it in and I'm shooting it through all of my unconscious filters. And instead of coming up with a quick answer, I will say something like, oh, that's interesting. And so I took it actually as a compliment. I just chose to take it as a compliment. But all of that to say, I am becoming more me because I am learning a new way to live, which is focused on me understanding who I actually am and me learning not to judge the heck out of myself so that I don't judge the heck out of you. And here's what I know, right? Is I grew up ultimately learning how to judge myself and how to judge you. And that's just the short version, right? It really just cuts away all the fluff and bullshit and puts it really clear. And personally, what I've come to learn in my 25 years of working with people one-on-one is most humans grow up learning to judge and judge harshly. So if you're not aware that you judge others harshly or judge yourself harshly, you will want to tune in on Sunday morning, because when you get liberated, you learn how many ways that you judge yourself, and we strip it away. We remove that self-judgment so that you don't feel the shame and the guilt and the frustration with yourself anymore. Because the shame and the frustration and the guilt is literally what is weighing you down and causing you to feel so burdened and over-responsible and heavy in your spirit. And it also compels you to go around telling other people what they should and they shouldn't do with their life, what they should and shouldn't be as a person, right? Literally, that is what happens when we're walking around with all of this self-judgment. It looks like you should and you shouldn't. And there's something wrong with the way you're doing things, right? Now, I'll just side note this because I still find it so fascinating. Growing up in the church, we would call those people the Pharisees, the Sadducees and the Pharisees. And if I'm losing you, growing up in church is a huge part of my life experience, and I integrate it into everything. My content and my message is meant literally for every human on the planet, and I weave that in because I want to reach those people who had similar experiences to me and are also seeking a new way of living. I believe with my whole heart this message is meant to be heard, this new way of living, and I'm seeing it being communicated around the world by several other people. So I am doing my part to show up and communicate it and share it and encourage you to get on the bandwagon. And my bandwagon is called Liberated Living. So when I used to think about the Pharisees and the Sadducees, I would be like, oh, those people, I definitely don't want to be like them. I'm so glad I'm not one of them. Well, if you look up the definition of a Pharisee, I absolutely had become one of them. Incredibly fearful of what other people thought about me, so much so that I would not take action in ways that I desired to take action in my life, including leave the job that I was at, including move from the location that I was at, including getting rid of a lot of my things and moving to a place I really enjoyed instead of staying where I was because it made financial sense to stay there. Now, don't get me wrong. Yes, we want to be doing things that make financial sense, but not in the way that I was doing it, where I was saving my money, holding on to things, feeling stuck. I couldn't make choices. I couldn't make transitions that I really wanted to be making in my life because I was fearful of what other people were going to say about them. But really what I was fearful of is the way that they were going to judge me, and ultimately the way that I would then judge myself, right? Because if you thought that I was doing something wrong, or I was being in a way that I shouldn't be being, then I would judge myself. Even times when I would be like, I don't care what people think. It's just not really even possible. So, if you think it's possible, okay, cool. I would be happy to have a conversation with you about that. But it's definitely not the goal to not care about what people think. The goal is to be able to be who you are in spite of what other people think, and also not get pissed off at them for thinking what they think, right? So you see all the different things that go on in our country. We basically talk about very similar things over and over again. Different ways that we collectively judge each other and say to each other, you can't be that way, or I don't agree with that, or, I have a problem with the way that you are. But what we're also really revealing is we have a problem with the way that we are. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, come join me on Sunday and I will break it down and get into more detail. But let me tell you this, the way to freedom, the way to experience something that I would have heard growing up in the church, which is heaven on earth, it is through this liberated living. There is a way to enjoy living to the fullest, way more than you probably are right now, and allow other people, even people that right now you adamantly disagree with or find fault in, there's a way for you to be able to live in peace and relationship and beauty with them. It's so amazing. So, it's a real thing. Let me just tell you, in all flat seriousness, that for those of you that need to see the seriousness in the face of me being serious, I'm so serious. This is the way, and I'm not telling you that you should do it or that you have to do it. I'm just saying, what I am saying is, if you want to feel more love, more abundance, more health, more comfort in your own body, if you want to look in the mirror and be like, damn, I am so proud of her. Damn, I really love that girl looking back at me. This is the way to do it. So join me on Sunday morning at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Obviously, it will be here on my page for the replay if it's too early or you're busy at that time doing whatever. But I encourage you to join me live because it is about being in community. And there's this synergistic thing that happens when you and I actually show up, even though it's this format, when we show up together at the same time. All right, you guys, as always, go do that thing you most want to be doing today, and I will talk to you soon.